All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Damage Control. This is Mookie, joined here with Darth Beaver, and we may be joined with Dell. Dell just kind of comes in unexpectedly. He's kind of like that third roommate that you don't know when he's going to come in, but he may join us, may not. But either way, we enjoy those that are watching us, and hopefully, y'all enjoy today's segment and conversation that we're going to have today about Marvel Strike Force. We're going to wrap up a little bit about what happened last week within the game and talk about currently what's going on with the tower mode. I'll dive down deep a little bit on that because I do want to pique Dark's brain on one of his favorite game modes. So we're going to talk about tower mode for a little bit, and then we'll jump into the war saga or the war scourge news that just came out on Friday's blog post and what the preparations are going to be for that. But really more so kind of long term of what our overall preparations are for the whole apocalypse event and how we're going to kind of get our teams ready and just trying to make good use of resource management, if you want to call it that. So, yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed the conversation again. And thanks for joining us. And with all that being said, let's introduce the second man of the show here. Darth, how are you doing, Darth?
Doing great. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, man. All right, Darth. Well, again, happy New Year's to you, man, and your family. It feels like it's been 2 weeks that we haven't talked, but literally it's only been what, maybe a week and one day.
Jeez. Was New Year's Eve when we recorded the other show?
Yeah,
But yeah, it's been a long week, man. It's been a
yeah,
whole new year.
yeah, it has been, and it's just a lot's been going on within, of course, this game. It's crazy to kind of think like when I come up on here every Sunday morning, I'm like thinking about what happened last week. It's like, man, it's kind of a lot, but I don't make the notes as I probably should. We just kind of do it off the cuff. So I'm gonna jump right into the gameplay here then, and let's talk about that. First, I'm gonna jump right into the big news. That kind of was, I don't know if it's like a hot frustration type of thing, but it's about the release here when they did the strike pass. I went about my whole theory when I was looking at the strike pass. I didn't even realize who the feature character was going to be. I just knew that I needed to save my daily objectives, and I started spinning that a little bit before, and I was like, "Oh damn, I gotta stop! I forgot." Saw that the countdown had already expired, and so once it reset with something better than what I thought. I guess I was glad that I saved some of my daily objectives because it allowed me to jump into that fourth slot, and it was this Spider Weaver that came through. Um, so where were you? It's like one of those things. Where were you at the moment when you heard the news that Spider Weaver had 4,000 character shards? Were you right available to jump onto it and claim it, or did you have to wait a little bit, Darth?
Was it was right near reset, and I tried to be near the game towards at reset. So I hadn't logged in game, but of course, as you follow more people on Discord, I was getting all kinds of pings from the different Marvel Strike Force Discord leaders that I follow, and they were like 4,000 Spider Weaver shards. Get in and claim it now before Scopely comes and takes it away. You know how it is. You get
Hmm.
while the getting's good, or you're gonna miss out.
Yeah.
And so I got on, and there was enough. I didn't save any of my objectives, but that piece of mail that gives you 300 was enough to get me to the fourth milestone. Because if you look at the milestones, they're set up like the last two were, or one of them is where it's super short. Like it's only 75 experience instead of 150 to get to the next level.
Hmm.
Like it was when we did the 2 weeks. So if you go over and look at how much experience it takes to get to your next one,
Are you talking about like these daily objective stuff, or?
no, go into your strike pass. Go into the strike pass.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now look, it says 25 out of 75, right up there in the top right hand corner.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's the 2 week timer.
Okay.
That's the 2 week. That's how much it was when we did the 2 week strike passes.
Mhm.
So we're gonna finish. I mean, think about it. You're at 24, 6 days in, 7 days in. It feels, yeah. There's used to be 150. I'm almost positive. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm out of my mind. But it feels like we're gonna scream through this like we did the last one.
Yeah. Okay. I see where you're getting at. So yeah, well, we all jumped in, and then I guess once you claimed those shards, I mean, were you initially expecting that they're going to roll this back, or did you think that they're already stuck on it? Like, what was your initial feelings on how they were going to handle this whole character?
Um, the longer it waited, I think I was probably 15 minutes after reset by the time I claimed it. And I think that by the time I had claimed it, like I claimed it, and then upgraded my Spider Weaver, and then promptly went and spent all of the Ultimus credits opening Ultimus orbs, and got some characters I didn't have. So it made it, and I just in case they rolled it back, in case they didn't, I was going to get my slot machine out of it anyway, besides my other stuff. And then the longer it goes, the more you're like they're never going to roll it back because there's you have to roll back everybody's account, and the longer you wait, the more stuff they've done and the more stuff you're rolling back and the more purchases that have been made in that time where you're trying to roll back somebody's purchases, which is not going to go over well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and what we talked about in our alliance a little bit, and my main take on the whole thing was it's not a game breaker. It's super nice that everybody that's in this Strike Pass 3 who's level 70 and above is going to get a 7 red star, or excuse me, a 7-star Spider Weaver. Um, it's a lot less game breaking than when they did the SBC offer. That was marked wrong. It was 10,000 SBCs for $10 or whatever it was, and or all those fully crafted SBC pieces. And it's not as game breaking as the 14s and 15s that we all got if we spent $20 for your 200,000 or whatever it was of each of those orbs. Um, those changed my in-game economy for all of my characters when those things happened. Those affected my account in a big way. This affects my account by one character getting up to 7 stars. And it's a meta character and it's great. And the only negative I see is that it devalues Super Krakens. I don't think it devalues my purchase because I had 3 or 4 months, 3 months maybe, where I had her early before everybody else, and I had her at 6 red stars before a lot of other people did. So, but what it would feel bad if I spent hundreds of dollars to get her to 7 stars, um, and then this happened. Maybe I'd feel worse. But like I said, I don't think this is small potatoes compared to the other things that we've seen them deal with. This doesn't mess with the in-game economy like in a major way like that other stuff did.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, this is all based on one individual character getting to 7-star quicker than than what they anticipated. And I obviously it's just more of their own self reflection about lost chance as far as money grab, as far as on how they wanted to probably slow play the release a little bit, but in the end, yeah, I agree 100%. I don't think it's game breaking for the whole, for the whole Marvel Strike Force community here, that are playing. The only ones that I wonder, and I didn't know, and I kind of didn't know this. Like I'm kind of stumbling because I still don't know how true. But mobile game mentioned on one of his offer review videos that he had that I guess those that are like at level 70 and under that don't have this particular tier of the strike pass did not get her. So that's the only part of like where you feel bad for the community there for those that are level 69 and below.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of like I wonder what they'll do with trying to give them something for it because that's where you would feel the impact, right? For more the newer
Right.
players that are trying to like go into these arenas and they're facing these 7-star spider weavers
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So that's the only part of, I don't know what they'll do to help that, but hopefully there's some type of direction there for them. All right. But let me let's go ahead and there was something else, I guess, and this is just more like a public service announcement, I would say a little bit as far as because that was the big news that came out last week. But the other one that I like to always try to be mindful as far as what farming aspect of it is like the villains. I think this kind of came off left field. I didn't even, as much as I try to pay attention to the game and some of the content creators out there, this opened up for the next two difficulty levels for level 3 and 4 on the villain side. So those that are trying to go after Mighty Thor, she is available. And I guess for you, Darth, I mean, I know you mentioned the last show we talked about it, and I don't want to go that deep into the whole farming stuff, but for me, I mean, it sounds like you also are looking just like at these till gears. Is that what you're shooting for? I know you talked about more so you like looking at the training modules, but
As long as I stay in the hard campaigns, I get the same amount of trading modules. So that gives me 8 times 9, 72 nodes to choose from still to get the training mods I want.
okay.
So
Yeah.
as long as I stay in the hard modes, I'm good. But I'm looking at characters right now. Still, when they open it up now, I have 4 characters that I'm farming every day. So, that's almost 500 energy right there just to farms. And I'm still farming Spider Woman, Madeline, Phantom X, and Mighty Thor.
Okay. Yeah, and I kind of have half of that. I have just Spider Woman and Mighty Thors who I'm going after. So I have two open slots, and what I've been using for those two open slots are actually right here. I am, even though I'm doing okay with my training orbs and stuff, I'm still farming it because I know how that's currently, you know, um, it's currently on the low side as far as availability on getting those training orbs. So I'll go after that, and then also go after the gold orbs that are on the hero side of things with Venom's node. So that's where I've been using my extra farming. But let's jump into the good one. And I'm trying to find it. I wish they had like a little screen that said tower, but you got to jump into the blitz section to find it. So here we are. I'll let you go ahead and dive into it, Darth. So where you landing? I know you had a little slip. You slipped up the hill a little bit. But where are you currently sitting at on the floor?
I am at 93 is the next floor I can attack, I think. Boy, I slipped and I slipped like 20 levels. It was a big slip when I fell.
Yeah.
It cost me 2 days basically, which is okay though. I was thinking about it last night as I was climbing up. Oh, I'm at floor 92. And I'd mismanaged my roster last night, so I only came up like 4 or 5 floors last night. And through my frustration, I was thinking, man, I just can't do this. And I was like, am I having fun? And I was like, you know what? I am having fun. I'm having a lot of fun theory crafting here on my phone and trying to push this hard content with the roster that I have and being surprised by teams like Bionic Avengers and how good they can be if they can get off and actually go. Um, yeah, I've had a tremendous amount of fun doing this. And so I've got 2 more days at it. So I'm probably going to push really hard today. And then I got to think about what I want to do and how much fun I actually want to have because I don't care about the top score.
Hmm.
Um, Even getting up to the highest floor I can will be good for my ego. But as far as the most fun that I could have, it's going to be to get to a point where it's not as much fun as it could be for me, and then dropping back down to 60 and then climbing as high as I can again. Because from level 60 to 80, I can use a multitude of my teams, and it actually winds up being a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of go about this overall game mode in my perspective, as far as why people love and hate it. And I guess I'll just more towards what my guess is, my gut feeling. I think what overall you have to play it. A lot of people want to go about it casually, and I think overall it's about the rewards, right? People don't want to play or grind that hard for like rewards that they feel it's not like overall good for them when
Right.
they look into these milestones. I mean, that's the why people kind of look side-eyed as far as trying to go at this aggressively. But I was looking at these, even like the final rankings when you're trying to climb up to top 100. You're really battling like T4s. Almost since like feels like what is it, the Alliance Awards weekly payout or something like that. It's
Yeah.
kind of what your
Hmm.
ranking's going to be. So, anyways, but yeah, when you start off on it, and I'm trying to see, I can't grab this damn slider bar to go all the way at the bottom. But the first week, it's just if you want to go about it casually, but still be aggressive and still have fun out of it. I think in the beginning, you mentioned you kind of semi auto played, semi played it, and you take advantage of the new teams, right? You want to go out there and kind of test them, and I think that's how you play the first day. But for me, I just simulated all the way through within my saved 45 roster, and I can climb up at the end within the past the top 35, 40ish range. But then the second day is kind of like you kind of have to simulate it because you're going to run across certain teams that the composition setup isn't there for an auto play. You got to manually play it. And then especially within the third day, I would say at that third day, that's when you really have to make use of your roster as you start climbing over 60, or once you get over that 60 level. Um, but I guess what I'm thinking in my head here is that for those that kind of rely on content creators, I think it becomes cumbersome where it's kind of like the copy and cheat mode. It's like, well, I don't know what I want to do with this or what someone else is doing. And then they look at it and they do it themselves and see if it works and back and forth. And that's truthfully, I think that's where someone that is going within that gameplay style finds it cumbersome because that is too tedious to try to look into it and mark down on a piece of paper on what floor level this character team composition needs to be set up bad, and then your individual roster might not be that of your favorite content creator that you're following, and it doesn't work for you. So then that's where the frustration mechanic starts beginning. So within the last two tower modes, I really don't even, because in the beginning I was that person. I was looking at that like, oh, what are they doing? Okay, let me try that out. But when I moved within this current style, it's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna waste my time doing that because that's too tedious. And I just kind of go off my base knowledge of like, okay, and then this is where I'll see if you do this or not. I'm curious. But like for this floor as an example, 86, I look at each floor room as who's the most character I got to control. You know, what team do I have available to control this particular character, team. And obviously, when you're looking at the Eternals, you got that first bishop there as a pre-taunt, so you need to steer away from him and then get to speed battle before Eternals start going off on your team kind of mindset, right? So I guess for you, Dart, I mean, like when you look into this, is that how you're playing it? Like you're just kind of going chess match by chess match within your roster, or do you kind of feel the need to kind of piggyback and look at some other content creators and what they're doing?
As I get up into the 90s, um, I might do a little more looking just to see just for efficiency because I do plan on dropping back down to 60 at some point or 61 and doing another 1 day climb at least. Um, so when I get to the top, like if I don't have something in my head that I think will work, so it's like you can theory craft as you're doing it yourself. I don't necessarily run to a content creator and say, so like that floor you're on, like on 86,
Hmm.
there's three people you have to deal with. You have to deal with the pre-taunting tank and then the Eternals. The other two are just there. Um, so like yesterday when I fought this match, I went in with my Eternals and Zemo and Loki and some ancillary character. It wasn't Dormammu. Um, and smoked it because that's how it works. You have to go first, and then turn meter removal, and you have to be able to remove Bishop's taunt, and it just all worked out like it should.
Yeah.
Um, it's some of those other ones. So like I had a lot of trouble with the double gambit node,
Mm.
and I think that's lower. I
Yeah, I
think you
remember
already
seeing that
passed.
one. Yeah, there was double gamut
Uh,
with the rogue, wasn't it? Set up maybe.
Something like that. I don't remember where it was, but it took me longer. That was a floor I banged my head on for too long trying to make something out of nothing. You know, it's the floor right before what you were doing.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's floor 85.
Okay.
Um, but like I banged my head against that floor for way too long before I finally just came in and overpowered it like I should have done in the first place, which cost me more matches during the day. But again, that's what I consider to be the fun of this mode.
Yeah.
You see what's ahead, you know what you have, and you know how many days left you have to get as high as you want to get. Like I said, that's where I personally find a large quantity of the joy that I get from this mode.
Yeah.
So and I stole joy from the first day. Like I used to do what you did and just auto through it and get as far as I can. But I did. I think I only auto battled 4 or 5 battles on the first day because I had the time, and it's a huge time suck if you're going to go in and manually battle 45 times. Um, but like it did, it gave me a chance to play with my rebirth team. It gave me a chance to play with teams I haven't played with for a long time. Shit, I played with Pimtech. I never played with Pimtech. I haven't played with the Pimtech team for months or years, if that. So things like that, actually trying to glean as much joy from my entire roster as I can, not only a final score, especially since the rewards don't really matter. So the tower orbs are terrible. They're not updated. They're nothing in any of the rewards for the ranked rewards is anything that I even need. They're, besides the T4s, but like the first almost everybody's going to get 240 T4s.
Yeah.
So that's not a huge deal as far as that's concerned. I'm going to be really sad when this is gone because I've found this a daily source of fun. Just like I said, I've had tons and tons of fun out of this. So um, there's two ways to look at it. And it's nice if you don't care about it, the rewards aren't big enough that it matters. You don't care about the ranking rewards. Get through, get your milestone rewards, get those gold orbs, and call it good. And you're not missing out on anything. If
Mm.
you ask a guy like me, I just say you're stealing fun from yourself. But that's fine. Who cares? That's your game. You do as you want to do with it, and you make your own fun. And if grinding the tower isn't fun to you, then you don't have to, and you're really not missing out.
Let me jump into the next part and start moving forward. So we got the Friday blog post that just leaked out here. Wasn't tons of like game breaking information that came out, but more it was just kind of the this guy right here that we're looking at. It was all about the because I would this was my biggest question was like, hey, when is the second run of the War Scourge going to come through? So I was definitely happy to go ahead and see this. So he's coming out on January 12th, which I don't have my calendar. What day? That should be Thursday. So it's gonna be Thursday this upcoming week. So be ready for that. And then it goes on. There's that coordinated assault, which I was just speaking of earlier, how that rolled out on Saturday. And but with the War Scourge news comes within the milestone events, or okay, what do you call it? Just like the weekly game events. So that's I don't know how I didn't really read into it, and truthfully, I'm kind of very disinterested about the weekly events. I just go about my usual gameplay style. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not gonna look into the whole calculations of trying to figure out what milestone I'm gonna land on. I know I play aggressively enough to kind of get within the monthly requirements for the shards for the like what's the monthly character, which we have is that agent, US agent. But that's the part I kind of bring that up because I don't even know if this event ties into that. I'm assuming it will. But it's more about, I guess, getting the characters. I saw that they're talking about this Gamma Bomb Orb, and you're gonna earn some shards for the Gamma Hero as Guardians Wave 1, like basically the feature characters for your nodes 5 and 10 of the War Scourge. And
Incoming Hawkeye shards.
some Hawkeye. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
This was
so
oh yeah, I never you're gonna want Valkyrie and Thor and the newest characters out of there, and you know those orbs are gonna contain the Wave One characters that you have at 7 stars too.
yeah, yeah,
The
so
Ravengers that you have at 7 star. Yeah, I think those orbs are terrible. That's all. I think
yeah.
that the juice is not worth the squeeze on those orbs.
No, and that's probably why I didn't even gain any excitement as I just kind of skimmed through this. But that's what's happening within the weekly side of stuff. And then, of course, here's your web milestones, where you get some those fragments for the Gamma Bomb orbs. And here's Underworld. So this is the team that we were going to be talking about here later in a little bit. But they are going to be the featured team for the Rumble Blitz on Friday. So yeah, just on that side of it, I probably would do some manual Blitz gameplay off of that just to kind of get more familiar with them. I feel like I kind of understand them a little bit as early as I've been using them for the war, Alliance Wars. And just character availability. Do you have Dazzler? Is she 7 star for you yet? Probably not, but
She's
um,
not, but she's close.
okay, yeah, I felt like I might have her. I wanted to double check. I don't know where I have her at, but she is going to become the new character in the War Store, so you can use your credits towards her. And but that's about it. And it just kind of recap everything here. So really, what I want to get into is just talking about that War Scourge. So preparations off of it. I believe the last time that I spoke with you, Darth, we kind of were highlighting your favorite scourges because we had wind down with just what last week or 2 weeks ago was the Death Scourge, and then now we're over here with the War Scourge. So how do you feel about? I mean, do you have them at 7 stars yet? Your Red Hulk, or where you have them at?
My Red Hulk is like 35 shards away from 7 star. I got the top 750 reward for his Scourge.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, so yeah, 235 out of 300. Um, I'm excited. It'll be nice to pump him up and get his 7th star full. But you know me, I like the Scourge itself. I like the event.
Hmm.
Um, it's my favorite one. And if you got a big old Thor for this one, it's gonna make life easier.
Yeah, you got him at 7
I
right?
do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you're gonna have fun with it. So I'm definitely gonna make up for my lost opportunity on the first run and try to jump ahead and leapfrog a little bit to try to gain as many stars as I need to get into the seventh level. I would love to be able to come out of this event with a full 7 star Red Hulk. So I'm definitely gonna be pushing hard on this one. Because overall, I mean, this is almost coming down to the wine, and really where I'm getting at is that we're coming on the conclusion. I mean, we already are kind of at the conclusion as far as running the Four Horsemen's events. And as I'm trying to pull up these horsemen's here, I mean, the overall goal, right, for us that are playing is to get them all at 7 stars. Of course, we're going to still wait with upon the second run for Archangel to get him up to a 7 star level. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is kind of like I feel like we're at the finish line, and it's like, what are we doing now? What are we needing to prepare for, as far as the next requirements? And we're kind of in limbo, and that's the whole thing about that Friday's blog post is that I'm sure many of us were kind of hoping for some hint as far as, okay, what's the other new strike character going to be? What's our do we have our requirements all set in stone, or is there something still pending out there, which we know there is? But who's next characters, or who's that strike team going to be? So as we're just kind of pondering and wondering and starting to gain up on our resources, you and I kind of had a conversation of wondering about, like, I think you're itching about your skill, right? You have a bunch of skill resources starting to stack up, and as many of us are just kind of fearful, it's like, can we use that or not? So how long for you, for your, I know for my gameplay style, I'll am going to continue to patiently wait. And that's just me. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of wait because I just want to make sure I have what I need, so once the news drops I can go all in on those particular characters or team. But for you, you kind of, I don't want to say like you're uncautious about it, but you've been like, say for example, like the War Dogs, right? Like, I'm not even using any tilt towards them, and you have. So what's the
Yes.
mindset that you have, Darth, as far as when you look at your skill characters and you got some resources there? Are you just looking to get them up to 16 and not play with the 17 resources, or how do you manage your resources?
Yes, top ceiling for me for everybody that's not on a horseman team or required for apocalypse is tier 16.
Okay.
Um, like that's as high as I'm willing to bring anybody that's not used to unlock apocalypse. 16 is becoming more free, let's say. It's easier to you can farm your 16 pieces, all of them now, I think, except for the minis. Um, and we have a lot of events that have those coming out. So I have a stockpile of skill minis and things like that. And I really want to, you know how I am. It burns a hole in my pocket, man. I'm not good at hoarding. I'm not a good saver. And the teams I'm having fun with are the teams that I want to overinvest in. So I'm having a lot of fun with my Underworld team. They were fun in Tower. They're fun in War. They're a reasonable Cosmic Crucible defense. Um, they're 100% win Blitz team. Um, so they check off every game mode except for Arena. And they come with a lot of bits and pieces that are useful in lots of places, like Kingpin's removed from that team and put on a lot of Cosmic Crucible defenses because he's a pretty daunting tank, basically. So yeah, personally, I want to put mine up to 16, at least what I call the big three of that team, which is Taskmaster, Negative, and Kingpin. But I've held off. I've took them to 90 and 15, and I could take all three of them up right now to 16, which is where it's going to sit, I think. And I'm just going to wait because we did have a discussion. You talked me off the ledge this week, just reminding me of something I already knew, but of course that there's more characters coming out that we don't know what their origin are. And what if it's a skill team to go with Spider Weaver for this strike, whatever. And yeah, I don't want to be left out in the wind, I guess, for actual apocalypse requirements.
Mhm. Yeah. No, and that's the biggest. That's really where my feet are in this wet sand, and just wondering what to do. And that's how I want to kind of wrap up the show a little bit, because I know many of us are kind of in that same position, obviously just trying to wondering what to do with the resources, go all in or not. So I truly believe that I'm starting to lean towards what you just hit on, and I just would reiterate that it is okay to, we are getting enough till resources going on here. We got the Death Sea team that just helped us, especially within our alliance, bump up to the next level of the Doom raids. And, I'm sure it pushes up everybody one extra level from where they're at under Doom raids. So you're getting more till resources there from those daily rewards. But yeah, getting that 16, that's what I'm gonna start doing. And I think the play that I'm gonna do, and it's probably what you already did, but is I'm gonna look into these four particular teams. Well, really three, but I want to highlight four teams here. So this one that we're looking at is a current team that I would say that they're an Alliance War meta. For if you love playing Alliance War, I mean, this is one of the teams that you can safely go ahead and start using some resources on. They're great defensively or offensively, however you want to manage your style. But I will go ahead and start wasting some of my skill characters on this guy first. Get him up to 16. And like you said, there's only three on here that you can kind of really look at with the negative and Kingpin. Kingpin is sneaky. He's starting to come up in a lot of Cosmic Crucible defenses. So that's another safe investment if you love the Cosmic Crucible style. I mean, game mode, he's worth it
One thing
too.
about one thing about Kingpin taking him to 16 is he takes vibranium. So he's the same as all
Mm,
of your War Dog character, or for the most part, your War Dog characters.
there you go. Okay. That's a good point because actually that's funny. That's a good segue because I go into the second team. So again, this is one team that I'm looking at overall currently as far as like what is the new teams that I want to start looking at some resources towards. So that's one of them. And then you just mentioned the War Dogs. That is the second one on my list here. And as we look into the War Dog characters, I already have some teal within Black Panther and Shuri. I'm looking at doing that for her. So I guess a question for you: how many teal do you have on your War Dog?
All teal.
All of them, right? Okay, I figured it would be. Okay, so yeah, you went across the board off of that. I'm kind of leaning towards that way because again, Cosmic Crucible, right? They're very, I wouldn't say needed, but they're a good team that you're going to want to have to counter certain defenses or even place on your defense. So that's probably the number one team over. I would jump over Underworld as far as like team priority to
Yes.
safely invest in would be them first. And then, of course, Underworld. But then somebody would argue, and here's the third team I want to talk about. And this one, some people would say, no, I think this is the number one team to focus on, and that's going to be the Rebirth team. Because obviously they're the new Bio Doom raid team. So
Mhm.
this team right here is still also on my list, and I am going to be putting some of the till resources up on this particular team here. Um, and I guess, like you said, I'll just put them up to 16 and stop. And I think I've noticed a lot of people are doing that for, especially on these Cosmic Crucible challenges I'm doing, or even Alliance War. You're seeing more teal across the board with certain teams, especially on the raid
Yeah,
teams.
vibranium too.
Yeah. So,
Just yeah, that's the one that'll be your choke point is the minis at this point.
mhm,
So buying all of the teal minis you ever see. I don't know what agent is, but I know that Captain America's vibranium.
yeah.
He's the bullets. Everybody should have 1,000 of those.
Yeah, yeah, you got the bullets. Captain America, that you hit a good point. It is a vibranium. I want to say he is vibranium. Yep,
Hmm.
there he is. So
Oh, you
anytime,
have
yeah,
60,
yeah,
so
I
you
start
got enough
buying
for
them.
three.
No, and I look at them every time any of those minis come into the stores. And I love that they even put them on the main supply store as well. When you scroll down to that second or third row, they made a new row for that store. I look and I purchase those there. So yeah, I'm stocking up on them. All right, but yeah, so then the fourth team is the Desi team, and I mean, I guess that's kind of the no-brainer, right? Because this is going to be your Apocalypse team, and plus they are the now featured mutant raid team for Doom raids. So I just kind of close up our little conversation before I jump into a little game with you here. But I jumped away from the right side of the Doom raids, and I'm missing out on the fun now. and, and
Yes.
and I'm going into skill, and I'm doing that for my strike team there because I know it's a pain to start off on skill level. So I'm trying to do what I can do to kind of get them moving up the ladder. But how are you enjoying this? Are you one shotting every node now, Darth?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
I am. And if I'm in a hurry, I can auto the two nodes that aren't the boss node.
Okay, so the boss node you have to manually play, and that's probably because of what happens with, of course, with Madeline. You got to control her.
And
Not
mostly it's I
Madeline,
want
Morgan Le
to,
Fay. Morgan Le Fay.
yeah, I want to know, I want to throw down. It's actually not Morgan Le Fay. She falls over easy. It's you want to make sure you get a trauma on Icarus when he pops down at the beginning and kill him quick, and then the same thing with Cersei.
Hmm,
I think it's Cersei first, but that trauma, the trauma from Nemesis walks out there and lets you just delete that character.
yeah, he is my favorite character on that team, and
Mine too.
and you got him up to your 6 red stars, so congrats. You
I
just broke
did.
that news to me. Now I'm jealous, so we're both jealous for different reasons.
Hmm.
So yeah, because I got the Spider Weaver at 7, and then you got Nemesis
Yes.
at 6, so you just kind of nudged me back. So yeah, this is definitely an exciting team, and definitely you can go all in on that team, and you know, the sky's the limit. So let's round out. What I want to go ahead and kind of wrap up here with is I'm going to jump over. I've always wanted to do this, and I wanted to have a little bit of fun within just our little conversations here and kind of test our knowledge overall as far as the characters that we play with on a daily day basis here. And I'm just trying to find my screen. So let's take a look. We're gonna jump into, well, you know what? I can't show you the screen, sorry, because it's just, be cheating. So what I wanted to do is I'm gonna ask you some just questions that I'm looking at here is gonna be in regards to like characters and which ones are like the top of speed, damage, like just their stats. So I used to really love and be into the whole stat table, and that's where I'm looking at on MSF.gg. So I'm gonna ask you, Dart, just off the cuff. If I were to ask you, who's the fastest player that always gets the first turn off that battlefield? Which character is the fastest?
Regular gameplay, not in war and things like that.
Yeah, just like the regular. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Nakia.
Okay. So you got Nakia, and then I'm gonna give you three. So and then who? I guess overall, what's the top three? So you got Nakia as one. Who would you round out the other two?
Nakia, Zemo. Man, that's so hard. Just those two.
Just
I
those
don't. I don't
two.
want to waste a bunch of time.
No, it's cool. Okay. Well, let's look. So according over here. And we look at the stat table on MSF.gg. I have it filtered with the speed, and actually the fastest player that's listed on here is Black Widow. Then you
Okay, I
got
forgot
Yo-Yo.
about her.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
Yo-Yo.
Ancillary characters that we don't care about.
But look at that third one, Red Hulk.
Isn't it really Red Hulk? I mean, I know he goes first in war for sure, but I guess yeah.
Yeah, he's 133 speed on his stat table. And then everybody else starts kind of rounding within the 127, 128, 130 range.
Where
So,
does Nakia? I guess maybe she always goes first for me because she gets speed up on spawn from what's her name?
yeah, from some other
From
type of
from
character.
Shuri.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, fuck, Nakia almost always goes first. I can't think of a match that I've taken where she doesn't go first, but that's why. It's not her speed set, it's because she gets speed up immediately from Shuri.
Mhm.
So she gets another 50% of her speed like from the go.
Yeah, and there's always going to be those boosts, right? And then, of course, you can
Yeah.
manipulate with Emma or Cable,
Ugh.
and you know, even what's his name, Loki. But this is just individual stats. So I thought this was interesting because with Red Hulk, here I am rounding out like the top characters, and I'm like, oh, I kind of go towards like speed and manipulation, and you're like, Red Hulk is way better. Like as far as the best, your favorite Horseman character, and I can see him right here. I'm like, damn, you're even when you go against him, right? You're trying to like mirror match. You're like, is mine gonna go off before his? But yeah, Red Hulk is number 3. I just thought that was interesting when I saw that. All right. And then the next one on the little quiz here, it's gonna be which character has the biggest like damage output? And you can name 3 that you may think on your head. Who has the highest damage on the game?
It's currently in the game
Yeah.
that we can play with. Okay, so it's not going to be Agent Venom. I still guess this is going to sound stupid. I think Nakia is still going to be up there. I think Red Hulk is going to be up there, and I think that fuck Gambit is going to be up there. We'll just say a third one. That's
Okay.
a big damager for me.
All right. We'll go into the list. You hit it with Nakia. Yeah, she is number 1. And it's funny
Okay.
because I kind of look at this because for me and the Red Star, and that's why I'm just kind of playing with this little game trivia, is that I I keep seeing Nokia come up on my store as a Red Star as a 6 red, and I'm like I probably should do it because that definitely is going to boost that up even more so. Because
Yeah.
what do you have Nokia at? Do you have her at 6 red or what's her red?
He's currently got her 6 red star lit up with the 7th red one all dim and gross.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. So
So
it.
she's got she's a 7 red, but she's just I need about 150 more shards.
Mm, okay.
They're trying to get
Mm.
me to spend money, the jerks.
That's very tempting. All right. So yeah, she's the number 1. Number 2, I mean, it is Agent Venom, which he'll be releasing out very soon. So just keep that in mind. He is going to be the second one on the list, and the third one was actually Star Lord T'Challa.
Cha-Cha. I forgot about Cha-Cha.
Yeah, he's remember those one shots that he would do, especially if you're going against him sometimes when the computer, they like to have him one shot your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
he's right there third. And talking about one shot, Madeline Pryor rounds up to top 10. She's number six, so she's one of those one shot characters. Little do you know, there's Echo. Echo's sneaking up on the top five. But Red Hulk is number nine on the list there. So it's just interesting. I mean, in the last one, I mean, just to kind of round up the whole fun, and I'll leave it on the screen. But if you were to talk about the top health characters, the beefy ones, the tanks, who do you have as your top three?
Hulk, Wong, and um, well, let's go with the Horseman. Let's go with Rogue.
All right, well, let's take a look. The survey says, but no, we have
Hmm.
Hulk Buster. He
Hulk Buster. Okay.
Yeah, so you're I'll give you that. You said Hulk. So some type of Hulk has to be up on there, right? Yeah, so Hulk Buster is on there, number one. Look at Morgan Le Fay, she's two.
Mm,
And Zombie Iron Man is three. And that makes sense, right? Because a lot of people have been playing Zombie Iron Man at 3 stars and still
yeah.
getting away with it. So he's up on the top three. And then there is Rogue at number four. Mr. Negative is on the top five. I thought that was interesting, kind of seeing him, and of course Omega Red, and you see how beefy he is. But yeah, as far as like the actual big characters, Tank, I probably misled you by talking about tanks, but um, no, like I mean, where is Wong? Wong is all the way down on number 23 on the list, which is surprising. But I think because he feels like a larger tank, it's just that his defensive up and some type of like,
And safeguard all the time, so it
yeah,
makes him twice as hard to kill.
exactly. So that's why we can. There's Cole Sibidian who's higher than him, but the new character Titania, she's gonna be on number nine on the list, so she's coming out. So just keep that in mind as you're kind of working on your teams there. And Dormammu, but oh, Captain Carter, yeah, there she is, number seven. So Captain Carter is higher than your regular Captain America. I don't even know where Captain America
She's
is.
the support of that team. All the healing comes from her, so that makes sense. And it's all 30% of her health or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. All right, but that was it. I mean, we'll just go ahead and wind down and close it off on this video here today. So let's yeah, we'll wrap it up. So again, just want to thank everybody that's been catching the show. Thank you, Darth, as always, joining me here on Sunday as we round out our conversation. So hopefully all of y'all are getting excited. Be mindful. I guess the topic of today is just be mindful with your resources. Unfortunately, I guess that's always the day-to-day mindfulness that you have as you start upgrades, right? But definitely, I can't wait for the big news to unleak as far as finally when Apocalypse is gonna truly be available. I think the real first news that we're gonna hear is gonna be about Red Hulk and his saga. So all in all, be prepared. As soon as we hear that news, we'll share it over with you guys. We'll share it over to our alliance mates, and y'all can share it over to yours as well. But until then, we'll see y'all next week and enjoy another week of Marvel Strike Force. And hopefully, y'all have a great work week and just enjoy the rest of your week, guys. All right, bye bye.